Guys, it looks like Wizards of the Coast is poised to make that power move that could be very good news for fans of classic D&D. But before we get into that, I want to remind you folks that this video is brought to you by our friends over at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde Games makes the kind of adventures that they would like to play, whether for 5th edition, Castles and Crusades, or OSR. Old School is in play at the table, and you can check them out at DriveThruRPG or on their website, hellebardegames.com. So, a few weeks ago, Wizards of the Coast representative Kyle Brinkman mentioned in an interview that they were maybe thinking about putting older editions under Creative Commons, and understandably so, a lot of people, myself included, were a little skeptical about that. There's been some debate over what they mean by older editions, and while we still don't have a clearer picture of what older editions might entail, there's some news from Bella Lost Souls, and I will link to that article below, that sort of clarifies the picture and does say there's been some solid moves in that direction. So let's take a quick look at this. D&D Beyond community update foreshadows more Creative Commons, minus Vecna. D&D Beyond unveiled a new community update yesterday outlining plans for the future, including older editions, that's older editions plural, coming to Creative Commons. D&D has had a roller coaster of a year after a disastrous OGL turned into Creative Commons release. The way forward seems clearer. Though many in the community are mistrustful of WotC's words and are looking for action, a new community update outlines potential future actions. And put myself in the skeptical column, but let's see. D&D Beyond community update, more SRD coming, older editions under review. So let's see what they've got done. Added SRD 5.1 to Creative Commons, released 4 play test packets for 1D&D, collected feedback via 3 surveys for playtest content. In progress, localize SRD 5.1 in French, Italian, German, and Spanish. And this is the killer here, guys. Review previous editions for inclusion in Creative Commons. Publish our internal content policy for D&D products. Update the D&D core rules. So this goes under the in progress column. And so those of you who maybe thought that Kyle Brink's comment about older editions maybe was lip service to kind of stave people off, it looks like they're moving forward on it. Now, again, I am very much of a trust but verify mindset, and I don't blame you guys if you're immediately skeptical of this. I am, but they're doing it. At the very least, something's going on. And then upcoming ensure 1D&D rules update are compatible with 5th edition in the SRD, which is, of course, good for fans of 5e. But including older editions in the Creative Commons, that's huge news for us over here on the old school side of the line. As you can see from the graphic above, D&D Beyond is both celebrating its accomplishments and downplaying the major turmoil the billion-dollar company threw its player base into over the last couple of months. You'll note January doesn't say revised OGL plans, but rather released SRD 5.1 into Creative Commons. Not to harp on that, but it's important to remember what the D&D community was able to accomplish. Very true. Your victory shouldn't be taken from you in an infographic, and it would be dishonest to say the least for D&D to pretend they had always intended for any material to be released into Creative Commons. But you, the D&D community, took action and got results. Never forget that. Very true, guys. Very, very true. Very well said from Bella Lost Souls. Well, this can't be good. In other words, an error has occurred on our side. That's just kind of a snapshot of when the D&D Beyond was choking under the strain. Now, as a part of their most recent community update, a nod to the transparency that many in the community have demanded, we get a look at the future. And while most of it is the D&D team saying, we're still doing what we said we're doing, there are two interesting pieces. Under the bullet points for progress, we see review previous editions for inclusion in Creative Commons. Before adding previous editions into Creative Commons, we need to review the materials for any potential exclusions to preserve the D&D brand. For example, we would not want to unintentionally release Tiamat or Vecna brand elements under Creative Commons. Previous editions going into Creative Commons could change a lot for people, especially with both the 3.5 and 4th edition D&D. However, as they say, they don't want to unintentionally release Tiamat or Vecna under Creative Commons even a little bit. This is a nod to the fact that certain words which were previously hailed as brand elements, like Mind Flayers and Strahd von Zarovich, were included in the 5.1 SRD into Creative Commons, and there's no going back from that. So basically, I am of the opinion that if they are truly looking at previous editions, more than 3.5, more than 4E, they are going and through and de-Greyhawkifying it, de-Mistarifying it, de-whateverifying it. They're taking that out. So you wouldn't see Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, you might see Faithful Hound. You wouldn't see Tenser's Floating Disc, you'd just see Floating Disc, unless they just strip those spells out altogether. And of course, any named artifacts and so on and etc. All that stuff would have to be stripped out. But the fact that they're doing the legwork is very, very telling. Though, as an interesting aside, WotC can't copyright Tiamat. After all, Tiamat is the name of an ancient Mesopotamian goddess along with Bahamut. While D&D might be able to lock down Tiamat as a 5-headed chromatic dragon, there's a lot you can do with a goddess who's typically depicted as a dragon or a sea serpent in mythology. And then they mention publishing our internal content policy for D&D products. They're releasing its standards to help the community hold to them, so be on the lookout for these relatively soon, and hopefully a 3rd and 4th edition of Creative Commons in the near future. 3rd and 4th edition, heck, I want 1st, 2nd, original, and basic Creative Commons, which is, I know, what you guys want, but of course I want to know what you think. So please leave a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you're not already, please click subscribe and the bell icon for notifications. That really helps out, and I will keep an eye on this going forward. I really do want to see if they're actually going to pull classic D&D under. And I know at this point 3rd edition is over 20 years old, so that probably qualifies as classic enough for some of you guys. But again, let me know down in the comments. I am in a very much trust but verify mode. But the fact that they've said now that they're doing it, that things are moving forward, is really fascinating. Probably have one more video today that kind of ties into this a little bit. That is the topic of news releases from Wizards of the Coast. And then tonight, of course, we have a live stream coming. Stephen Radney McFarlane will be here from Gripner Games talking about the Glimmering. I hope you guys will tune in for that. That is going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, we'll have a lot of fun with that. So you guys be well, and I'll see you then. Be cautious. Stuff's happening. Take care. Peace.